Alright, good evening everyone. Stock Master back here again with another video for you guys. And this video we're going to be talking about Petco. It's having its IPO sometime this week. And the ticker is going to be WOOF, WOOF. So let's get right to it. But before we get there, please leave a like, subscribe, and share the video if you like content like this. And of course, leave down below in the comment section. Leave your thoughts on Petco, your price point, and whether you're gonna buy any shares in Petco. So let's get started. And then today we're gonna do analysis on this stock and more of the qualitative data, and of course we're gonna look at some of the financial data of Petco and then their competitors. So let's get into it. All right. So like I said, they're planning to IPO 48 million shares at the price range of $14 to $17. The company already has about 1470 retail locations that are in 3 miles radius of 54% customers. And of course, over the first 9 months of 2020, they had a revenue of 3.58 billion, up 29% year over year. Comparable sales were up 9.6% in the first 9 months. Comp sales were up 2%, 10.5%, and 16% first 3 quarters respectively. So what does this mean, right, for Petco? They're generating revenue even through the pandemic of 2020 when COVID hit. So they're doing well on their own. But there has to be a reason why they're IPOing, right? And that reason will come towards the end of my video. All right, so let's go to the next one. Is Petco a buy, right? So I found this article by this person, and let me just go to the highlight section. So is Petco a buy? Competition remains intense. Rival retail pet value, which is also owned by private equity investor, just announced it was ending operations at all 358 stores and warehouses due to struggles encountered during the pandemic. So the services they provide there are being closed down. As Petco struggled despite being deemed an essential business. Let's see whether its IPO will result in becoming flea bin stock or an investor best friend. And that's what we're going to determine today, okay? So of course, like herding cat with a broom, Petco has more than 1,500 stores right now in the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Mexico. They offer pet care products, veterinary services, e-commerce presence, and an online health advice called Pet Coach. The company reportedly had 4.4 billion in annual sales at the start of February of 2020. Okay, or almost 5% of its total 95.7 billion spent in the U.S. on pets. So in February of 2020, they had a good revenue, and this is the total that was spent on pet just in the U.S. Okay, so that the pet industry is growing and it's consistently essential. Okay, so while the retailer was pressured by the tenant, it's done better than expected. So that's a good thing for Petco. And of course, let's look at the threat and competition, right? So within every industry, there's always competition and other companies that are doing better or could potentially do better. So let's say Chewy is another concern for Petco, right? The online retailer owned by they're owned by PetSmart, right? So if you don't know, PetSmart is one of the PetSmart is on top of Petco. So basically, PetSmart is leading in the pet industry right now. Of course, analyst package facts forecast online product sales will hit 24% of total 78.5 billion this year and grow to 26.5% by 2024. So it's growing consistently year by year. Okay, that suggests some 18.8 billion will be spent online in 2020. So that this is like a past article. Okay, Chewy issued guidance saying full year revenue will range between 6.78 billion and 6.83 billion, and around 36% of total online sales at the midpoint. And of course, bigger stores that sells pet food, pet products, pet toys, Walmart or Target, right? And Walmart is always essential. Target is always going to be essential. These two are going to be essential all the time. So PetSmart, these are PetSmart's competitor. And of course, fortunately, pet food, pet care, and pet products are largely recession resistant since pet owners forego spending on their animal even during the worst time. So if you have a pet of your own, or if you know anybody has a pet, right? They love their pet. Majority of owners are good owners and they love their pet. they will buy anything for the pet, buy toys, pet food, services, haircuts. Go to the veterinary, daily, yearly checkup, daily, weekly checkup. So it's recession resistant. That's a good thing about the pet industry. Okay, and of course, at the same time, the growth online players like Chewy, Amazon didn't cannibalize sales, but actually help expand the overall retail market. So let's say PetSmart is selling their products on Amazon and so on, right? And Chewy, these websites, it's good for Petco. I just said PetSmart. It's good for Petco, okay? So and PetSmart. So if they're going through these industry, we might think that, oh no, Amazon's actually getting profit. No, it's actually helping out this company. And of course, let's look at the financial analysis, okay? Whether they made profit or lost profit. And of course, it's website here because I'm gonna pull up the website. So I found the Petco Foundation statement of financial position and the assets, okay? So they're comparing the two assets of a year ago. So May 4th, 2020, that's about, so let's say the pandemic hit around February, Marchish. By May, it was probably the worst time, right? They actually made profit over time. 7 million, okay? It says 7 million, but I believe these are in the billions. So do you check? And of course, this one too, 2 million. So comparing, they went up 3 times, okay? 3 times difference within the cash area. But if you look at the asset, right, the asset is only 2 million difference after expenses and so on. And of course, we're gonna go into liability and net asset. So within 2020, the total liabilities was lower than the other liabilities prior year. Okay, so 2 million. You see that? Just look at for yourself. And of course, right here. So support revenue. So without donor restriction, 32. They have a lot. With donor restriction, they have a lot too. So they do have a lot of support revenue from other corporations. Okay, and individuals. All right. So special events, revenue, expense, so on. Net asset. So they have assets at the end of the year. Okay, beginning. So they went up. Beginning. They went. That was 2019, 2020. Okay. Support, and of course, it goes the same. It's on management, marketing. You can screenshot this. You can look at it for yourself. I'm not going into too much detail about this, but just know that the numbers are looking good for Petco in general. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the. All right. So pet industry growth, right? I believe we might be done. Actually, no, we have another one. So we'll take care. This one right here. Okay. So I found this. Look at the financials still. All right. So 2019, 4.4, 2018. So they don't have 2020 on here. Gross profit, but as you can see over year, they are growing. Okay, operating income, it was in the negative, but now it's in the positive. In 2018, wasn't doing too well, and so on. Okay, all right, and then we already talked about this. All right, so let's talk about the pet industry growth. Okay, so as you can see, the e-commerce or coronavirus and pet product sales, right? So during the pandemic, cat food was 162%, dog food 159%, kitty litter 125, pads and trays 125, bird food and treats 91, and of course equestrian equipment negative 3%. So this area didn't do too well, but overall 60% revenue growth since COVID-19. That's good for the industry. They're constantly growing, and this is just pet product sales. It's not the services that Petco provide. Everything that other stores provide is not even put into the pet industry. This data, okay. So there's more data on that. So let's keep going, okay. And of course, if you look at it, right, 1994 to 2020, constant growth, okay. No matter what, even if it's traced sideways, it's constantly growing. Of course, you can tell 2017 shot up, and then now it's here, right? So the pet industry, like usage is expenditure in the United States, is constantly growing. And of course, largest leading pet specialty chains in North America as of February 2020. Based on number of stores, right? And I had it up here, but I guess it's popped out. So let's look at this. The pet store industry continues to grow despite increased competition from supermarkets, mass merchandise, and online fields, which offer consumers more convenience at lower price. By 2023, 2 years from now, the U.S. pet store industry is expected to generate 22.39 billion U.S. dollars in revenue, an increase from promising 19.5 billion in 2018. Okay, and of course, PetSmart. Okay, so I think this is the important part right here we're gonna look at. PetSmart brings revenue, right? While Soap Pester are expected to grow, PetSmart revenue has been decreasing in this recent years. But Petco revenue, right here, on the other hand, has increased. So Petco is increasing and is trying to beat its competitor PetSmart. Okay, so that's good for Petco. And of course, let's look at the industry overall, right? 95.7 billion USD. Food sale 36.9 billion. US projected pet store revenue by 2024, 24.69 billion. Okay, so this is just an overall industry statistic fact. Okay, published November last year. So that's good for the pet industry. All right, so we can talk about all the good stuff, right? And the things that we can talk about all the good stuff, but before we do the key takeaway, I want you to look at this right here. Okay, the thing about Petco is that they have been a public IPO in the past before. So in 2000, the P firm TPG and Leonard Green acquired Petco, taking it into private, right? So before 2000, it was public. In the $600 million Petco went public for a second time in 2002. And at that time, the retailer had 600 stores in 48 states. 4 years later, in 2006, TPG and Green bought the second time and they're taking it to private. So think about when let's say you own shares of a company and it goes in private, right? They pay you the money that they owe you and then you lose all the shares. So this has happened in the past. And I'm not going to be biased saying that Petco is all great and nothing, right? But it has happened in the past and it could happen in the future, right? So, invest at your own risk. But Petco is, you know, I believe for me myself, I'm bullish. It could be a long term hold, and if the shares get sold or they go private, I get my money back from my shares. It's a win-win anyway, unless the price drops, right? And of course, yeah. So we were talking about this. The company filed for IPO 9 years public, following a 1.8 billion acquisition by private. So it's the same thing, right? So in 2015, they went private again. So something is going on here. This is a trend of public, private, public, private for Petco. Okay. So we'll see how that goes this time around. But anyway, so key takeaway. Right now, Petco is one of the top animal care company to IPO for 2021, and just one of the top animal care company in general after PetSmart. Okay, IPO date. This is important. January 14, 2021. That's the estimated date. Keep track of it. Keep checking it. Google, search it, so on. Make sure that you don't miss out on it when the IPOs. And the price targets. So they mentioned that the price is gonna be $14 to $17. But the thing is that when stock IPOs, it could be higher than $14, $17. Just like how DoorDash, right, or Airbnb, those shot up to, you know, 5 times, 10 times the amount of the IPO price here. Okay, so that could be something that happens. So if it's not $14 to $20, I don't know yet. It's a personal thought price target. I'll go over that in a bit. Okay, and of course, multiple competitors. So they do have a lot of competitor. PetSmart, Chewy, Walmart, Target, Amazon. For Chewy, Amazon is actually good for Petco because they could sell their products through those sites, and the online industry, e-commerce industry, is getting really big. It's taking over basically, in my opinion. Petco actually did good, better through pandemic 2020, and of course, even though they did do good, right? They're 3.3 billion in debt right now, because of the pandemic, obviously. And of course, that's one of the reasons why the IPO, right, to cover debt, grow other areas of store services, to create revenue, and of course, they're trying to survive the pandemic, and they don't want to shut down or go bankruptcy. Okay, and of course, have They have IPO in the past, bought out and went private over and over. There's a website that's proven. You could Google, do your own DD. And my personal thoughts, all right? So I am bullish on Petco. I'm bullish on the pet industry because I believe that it's going to consistently grow. I'm a long-term investor, so I'm gonna hold this stock for maybe 10 years if it doesn't go private, right? 10 plus years and see where it goes. 10 to 20 years even, because the industry is growing. As long as this Petco is one of the top competitor, or one of the top dog, right, within the pet industry, then I'm gonna be bullish on this stock. But of course, the price target. So for me, price entry is really important. I wouldn't buy a stock if the price entry is overpriced, right? So I believe that $14 to $17 is a great buy for Petco, especially a big company as big as this, right? But if let's say that it jumps 10 times, $140, right, or over $100 even, I would not touch Petco at all until the price drops. Because as you can see from IPOs in the past, there's a big old climb because the hype, right? Everyone wants to invest into the stock, and then it reaches a certain peak, and there's a sell off, and then it drops below, and whoever's holding bags at the top, they're gonna have to wait a long time until the stock reaches up there again, because at that certain price, let's say $100 plus, it'll be considered overpriced for me. I'm not sure about you, but for me it'll be overpriced, and I wouldn't touch it. Let's say it doubles and it goes to like $30, $40. Okay, I'll probably buy a couple shares to hold, and then of course wait for the price to drop. But for me, I'm bullish on Petco, and I believe in the animal pet industry, the healthcare industry. And the thing about this Petco in general is just that they don't only sell dog food, cat food, they sell other products too. But at the same time, they have pet coaching, they have pet training. It's called. They have their veterinary on site, pet care. They have different services, and that's the good thing about this company, that they have many services within the store, and it's just not retail, like selling items. Okay, so that's why I'm bullish. So to end off the video, if you like content like this, subscribe, share, and like. And at the same time, leave a comment below on what you think about Petco, IPOing, ticker symbol WOOF, whether you're bullish, whether you're bearish, are you gonna buy it for sure sell, long term hold? And of course, at the same time, what do you think about Petco in general? Do you think it's gonna grow higher? What's your price target? All right. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.